I'm a really competitive person. You know the type. I get way too involved in staff team-building activities. I wrestle Christmas crackers out of hands. I can't bear losing to my niece or nephew at crazy golf, that kind of thing. But football's my game. I've been playing since I was a kid in the garden, borrowing my older brother's shirts that came down past my knees because I thought it made me look professional. And I've always hated losing. So fast forward more than 2 decades to June 24th this year. What on earth could make me celebrate a 0-0 draw with absolute joy and elation? Well, this was no ordinary game, and for once, the final result didn't actually matter to me. Alongside 25 incredible women, I had just played a full 90-minute FIFA regulation football match, ankle deep in volcanic ash and gasping for oxygen. Our stadium was the crater at the top of Mount Kilimanjaro, 2 kilometers higher in altitude than the world's highest pitch. Why on earth would we do this? We did it to start a conversation about why women and girls still face so many mountains every day just to play the game they love. We did it because we love the game and think no girl should lose out just because she's a girl. We did it to do something exceptional that nobody could take away from us as being a paler, less significant version of what guys do. We played a game on the roof of Africa. You can't take that away from us. Football is the most popular sport in the world. There's no game as easy to play, whether in a pristine park in London or a dusty street in Tanzania. Now that should be the same if you're a boy or a girl, but it's not. When I was a kid, there were no girls' teams, so I had to wait until I was 13 and then played adult football with players 2 or 3 times my age. My parents paid more, and I travelled a lot further than my brothers to play the same game. And I've been told so many times that I'm good for a girl by guys who are really pretty average. And I've put up with wolf whistles and harassment from the sidelines. And we used to be assigned these terrible pitches, week in, week out, waterlogged and muddy, miles from the changing room. And I remember one week, our game got cancelled, so the guys could use our pitch and let theirs rest for the week. We were always an afterthought. And it's not just me. This is universal. Our mountain squad was composed of players, referees, and coaches from more than 20 countries across the world, from Argentina to Sweden, Rwanda to Nepal. Women who described football as the glue that gave them friends and teammates, that taught them about hard work and commitment. We were grassroots players and ex-Olympians. We were Christian and Muslim and Buddhist and nothing at all. Petra was 55 and Grace just 15. It didn't matter who we were or where we came from. Each of us had climbed many mountains just to play the game we love. Laura, who had this crazy idea in the first place, tired of never seeing female sports stars on TV. Erin, her co-conspirator, whose college team's prize money would get funneled back into the men's American football squad. Yasmin from Jordan, who gets shouted at in the street when she wears her football kit to games. Rasha from Saudi Arabia, who had to learn the rules on YouTube, banned from playing or watching in public spaces. Jasmine, who played professionally in Brazil, but had to quit when she never got paid. Dina used to play for England under-18s. She's now a professional coach. An 8-year-old boy refused to train when he saw his coach was a woman. Sasha, who scored the winning penalty to take Canada through to their first ever World Cup final. and who slept rough in her car for months. Morag, our FIFA referee from Scotland, tired of being told to get back in the kitchen until she started sending guys off for it. And Hajar, who unfortunately couldn't climb with us, but who ignored death threats to set up a girls' team in Afghanistan. Would you carry on playing? Girls shouldn't have to be tough just to play the game they love. It was a grueling 7-day hike up to the top of Kilimanjaro. 1,000 people are evacuated each year. We did not want to be part of that number. On match day, we woke at 2 a.m. wearing all the clothes we brought with us. We climbed in the rock and the ice, one frozen footstep in front of the other. This lasted 5 hours. Hardly what you call a good warm-up. But when we reached the top and set up the pitch, we knew the worst was past. Now was the easy part, just playing this game we love, even if we could hardly breathe. And the pitch was a mess of pebble and ash that would kick up in your face. Not the beautiful game, but never been done before. I looked around at my teammates and I exploded with pride at being part of this troop of strong, tough, exceptional women. But then it hit me. For every one of us up there were at least 1,000 girls who'd never had the chance or who gave up along the way, tired of the jibes and the harassment, tired of the limited opportunities, the poor facilities, the double standards, the stolen pay packets. Girls shouldn't have to be thick-skinned just to play the game they love. Now, things are getting better. Back home today, there are a handful of girls' teams. Saudi Arabia dropped its ban on sport for girls in September this year. In July, a small club called Lewis FC became the first in England, if not the world, to pay its male and female players the same. The European Championships in the summer drew big crowds and viewing figures, proving there's an appetite for women's sport. But also in the last few months, players from the Danish, Irish, Brazilian, and Australian national teams have gone on strike, not because they want the big bucks, but because they're tired of being paid below the national minimum wage. Tired of sharing tracksuits with the boys' teams and changing in airport toilets. Tired of needing to be exceptional, to be treated with any respect. So yes, it's changing. But fast enough? I once had an RE teacher who compared football with religion. The weekly worship, the songs, the icons, the things you wear that give identity. This idea that it's more than just a game. For me, football is just a game. I want it to be just a game. But by denying women and girls the right to play the most popular sport in the world, we deny them the right to be a whole person. We suggest they are less. They don't deserve to have fun. We contract their world a little. That's why it's more than just a game for women and girls around the world. Now, there's lots of things that media outlets, sponsors, clubs and associations can do. But there's also lots of very small things that each of us can do to normalize sport for girls and challenge this idea that they have to be exceptional to be worthy of any respect. So, 1, never say of anyone that she's good for a girl. She's just good. 2, drop those insults. Find a better one than he throws or plays or acts like a girl. You're not insulting him. you're making it that tiny little bit less likely that a girl will want to be physically active in front of an audience at some point in the future. And you raise that bar for boys as well. 3, if you meet a girl who likes football, ask her what position she plays, not whether she's better than the boys or her brothers. And 4, go and watch women's sport. Support your club or your national team in its entirety and take your sons and daughters. Let's make women's sport unexceptional for the next generation. We got a Guinness World Record up the mountain that day, by the way. It's officially the highest altitude football game ever played. In the future, I hope a band of women can climb a mountain and play a game of football at the top, just for the challenge and not for this bigger conversation. In the future, I hope that boys and girls have double the number of role models because female sports stars are more visible in the media and in the games they go to see. In the future, I hope many more untalented or thin-skinned girls give the game a go, just because they might like it. Girls shouldn't have to be strong just to play the game they love.